Right. Hello, everybody. I'm Jack.
I'm Ben.
And this is TheoryCraft. This is probably the third episode.
Third episode, second attempt.
Okay. Now this one, unless you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, in which case, how are you here? And secondly, if you haven't, then there is definitely going to be spoilers in this one for sure. So if you don't want any of those, turn back now.
Yeah, pretty much run and hide into your cupboard until you see the movie.
Right, but this one's going to be on... There's a lot of theories and a lot of speculation on various aspects of Avengers Endgame, also relating to the Infinity Stones, to Captain America, to the Hulk, and we're going to discuss all of them and some random theories which we've come up with as well.
And a lot of ranting.
Okay, so without any more chatting, we're going to get straight on to the first one, which is... This one's been talked about quite a lot on the internet so far, but I kind of want to explore it from just kind of our point of view and for different aspects, different theories of like our thoughts and feelings of what we think about it and what could happen eventually after. So the first one is, what would happen if it was Captain America who used the Infinity Gauntlet to snap at the end of Endgame instead of Tony Stark? Right.
See, my theory is like...
So yeah, do you want to go for your theory first?
I'd say Cap would probably sustain a lot longer than Stark because he's meant to be...
Because of the super soldier.
Yeah, he's peak physical human perfection. He's literally like the perfect human. But with the way that they've written it in the MCU, they've tried to make it more scientific than mystical.
Yeah.
Because they tried BSing it with... I'm not even going to call him Hulk. It's just literally Bruce Banner with green dye and a workout regime. But basically, like, they tried to say that he had so much gamma in him, he could absorb it, which I can kind of get.
And then you had Thor, who was insisting that he was to be the one to wield the Infinity Gauntlet and make the snap.
Yeah.
Whereas, personally, for me, I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not sure how you feel, but...
I mean... The issue was, like, with Thor, it's been a very difficult character full stop with the MCU. Like, the first movie, they set the groundwork, and it was just basically him being a spoiled prince that had to learn humility.
Yeah.
Second movie, I don't know what planet they were on, because it just...
I'm sorry, but I freaking hate that movie.
Yeah, I don't think many people would disagree with you on that one.
I have no interest in watching that. Because even you had like most of the actors in there, even the guy who played Heimdall, like Chris Hemsworth, who like actually detests the movie, didn't want to do the movie. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, Idris Elba was good choices. Heimdall, but the thing is, it's like with the second movie, Jane Foster. I don't know what they were trying to do with her. That's the thing that's really bugged me throughout the whole Thor saga.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because she was meant to be a really big part of Thor's character, but then they reworked everything in the first movie by, he's not a god, he's just an alien that has been misplaced as a god. Okay, that's cool, I like that. But then it takes away him trying to learn humility, like there's no Donald Blakeness, there's no switching around, he's just literally a spoiled prince that slowly but surely learns some humility and then just ends up being an asshole by the third movie. Because he's just literally complete... The third movie's amazing. I love it. But it's like Jackass if it was in space. Like, this is what I think of it.
I can't really argue that.
Because, like, it was such a good movie. It was like a bro movie. The entire thing. But it just seems so odd out of continuity from the second movie that was so deadly serious. There's dark elves and there's the ether.
It's like you kind of got to, like, complete black and white contrast.
Yeah, But it's just a shame they didn't pick that director in the first place, because I think if they had him in the first place, the second movie would have been a lot more interesting, a lot less complicated, and a lot easier to like follow to like the theme.
Yeah, because originally, like when I remember reading like the synopsis of For the Dark World, and I thought, okay, this is before it came out, saying this is going to be actually a really interesting movie. I'm quite looking forward to this, and then what we got was just an uber disappointment.
Yeah. But this is the thing, like, they dwindled down Thor to a comedic character after the third film. And I can understand...
Which that's fine, adding in like the comedy aspect,
Yeah.
but then it got to the point where Thor just became a running joke, towards Endgame.
Yeah, it was just, like, I understand for the point that they were trying to make him... Would you say PTSD in Endgame? Because, like, he went fat, he didn't want to be fighting anymore, he was very depressed,
Because we were talking about, like, the whole depression
Yeah.
side of it, you know, because obviously, even though at the start of Endgame, when he eventually did chop off Thanos' head after he already made the snap, but then didn't make any difference whatsoever in those 5 years. Didn't make any difference whatsoever.
Which is why I think there was some sort of PTSD, because, like, you see, he goes into, like, from peak physical godhood to a fat guy that just hates kids on Fortnite.
And he's obviously traumatized by, like, everything that happened, like, feeling like the disappointment in the whole of Avengers, so...
But from what I can remember in Endgame, that never got resolved either. Like, he's... Because, I mean, the only badass part of his entire character through that film was, like, the end battle, where he's, like, he looks like a Viking. He looks like a big, beer-belly Viking.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like, the rest of the film, he was a joke. Like... That's why I think it's a shame that he wasn't the one that used the gauntlet, because even if it wasn't the original gauntlet, like not the Eurometal one, he would have been a lot better choice, because he literally like creates thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. So, like, 6 Infinity Stones, that just seems a bit crazy that he wouldn't be able to sustain himself. I mean, there is even a story where he loses an arm anyway, so it would be a great way... Because the thing is, the reason why he lost an eye instead of an arm in Ragnarok was because Disney wanted it less gory. But...
Yes, but...
But then it's like... But then you're just literally making him a young Odin, because then he's literally following his father's footsteps. But I don't think Thor loses an eye in the comics at all.
Yeah, except obviously, like, when you have to go from, like, the House of Mouse perspective, obviously, like, the gory side and everything for, like, kids and everything, but, like, if it wasn't for, like, the House of Mouse, if it would have been a bit more, what should we say, dramatic, I suppose, then that could happily tie into, like, the whole of Chris Hemsworth Thor's character, leading up, like, the trauma and everything that he's been through. That makes a more interesting character.
It would have been a bit more consistent, because, like we say, the first film, he was a spoilt prince. There was some comedic tone, but
they didn't overdo it.
No.
Yeah.
And then by the second movie, it went very dark girls, and this, that, and the other, which would have been cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I don't know, they didn't seem a very threatening villain by the end of the movie.
No.
Like, Malekith, he seems very calm. It was good to have Chris Eccleston as the villain.
Yeah.
But reading up on Malekith, he's meant to be this, like, completely bonkers elf. He's warped. It's like an elf version of the Joker.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can explain it for simpletons. But, like, I don't know. The one thing, going off on tangent, we do this a lot, is with the MCU, they have a habit of getting rid of their villains before they even get a chance to do more with them.
Yeah.
And that sucks, because I know they don't want to do another movie based on the same villain again. That's fair enough. But it would be a great way to, like, build into something later on, which I think they're trying to do with Spidey, creating a team of villains against the good guy, and the good guy loses.
Yeah.
Because you never get that.
No.
And it's be a refreshing change, I think.
It's like with Infinity War. Like, I left the cinema going, oh my god, what now?
Yeah. But this is the thing, like, the other thing as well is, like, with Thanos, you had him at the end of Avengers, you had him at the end of Guardians. That's it. And you think the whole thing was leading up to him, but he never had much of a presence. And in my opinion, the best way the MCU could have done it all was have him, like, in the background for each little movie in some way. Not a big way, but, like, show that he's been there all along.
Yeah, but, like, you don't have to, like, even say anything, like, necessarily about the character. You, like, because it keeps fans guessing.
Yeah.
All the time.
Because it's, like, the only thing that they actually found out eventually, which I don't think they even explained either, is the fact that he was in charge of the Chitauri invasion.
Yeah.
But they never explained that.
No.
Other than the fact that Thor just goes, it was Thanos. He was the one that he was in charge of New York. But that.
Yeah, but when?
But this is my point. Like, they could have built up to so much more. They could have gone, oh my god, he's been here all the time. He's been watching us, and made it more of a threatening thing than just some purple guy that just has a really shiny glove and stones. Because to anyone who isn't a comic fan like me and you, they don't tie into all that stuff. They just think, well, what's the purple guy doing with this magic gauntlet? Why is he looking out for all these things?
Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to...
Yeah, so Cap anyway. Cap with the Infinity Gauntlet.
So say if it was Cap who made the snap. Now, I reckon this would actually change quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, like, the first bit you have to look at before we even extend further is, would he have survived the snap? But mind you, on that matter, would have Tony Stark survived the snap, which I reckon he could have done, since... Well, it's kind of a little bit of a dodgy one. It's a bit 50-50, you know, with like the stones being able to sustain life. I can't remember which stone it is.
It'd be Soul Stone.
Yeah, so I would have thought, hang on, maybe that could have actually like sustained his life. Surely.
I mean, this is why I find it odd, because like it doesn't. From what I remember in the stories, it doesn't kill anyone using them. That was just a thing they added for the MCU to make it more cosmically powerful. But for Stark, this is the thing that they could have done to save Tony was that he could have built his new suit on Liv Valir. So his suit would have been Uru metal and he would have survived. But he didn't. Like, his suit, well, the gauntlet that he makes is made from his normal suit stuff.
Yeah, but how are they able to actually hold the Infinity Stones with all of that power?
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, I know Thanos is a big guy and he has a lot of power, but it did burn him slightly. And I think most of it went through the gauntlet because it was Uru metal, because Uru metal is meant to be, like, the mystic metal that sustains stuff. It's why...
And then when you have Iron Man's suit, which is just a nanotech, in a way, it's not really surprising what happened. But, I don't know, it's a bit of a juggling act.
I mean, the thing is with Cap, I do think he would survive.
I think he would survive, personally.
But I would say that he may lose... Well, I would say he'd probably lose the use of the hand that he used it on.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I wouldn't say go all the way up the arm like it did with Hulk.
No.
Because Hulk is only gamma, but Steve is literally like the perfection of human.
He's like the perfect human.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, I don't know what chemicals they put in it, but it's probably a load of random things. But he's meant to be the perfect human. He's meant to be durable. He has a healing factor. He has muscle mass in a way. I don't know if that would make any difference, but you see where I'm coming from. But
yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah.
So
okay, so let's just say like Captain America survives the snap, making the snap. Like, how would this change things? Leading past, like, forget Tony Stark's death, because obviously he wouldn't have died. Like, leading up to that. How would that change things like in the timeline going forward?
I would say he would retire.
Because like you have first of all you have Iron Man Tony Stark, who would have his happy ending.
Yes.
Because in the middle of Endgame, he says to Cap when he gets out of the car, I can't lose everything that I've just have. You know, saying like gain back what we had, absolutely, but I can't keep everything that I have now. Absolutely, I have to keep that.
Yeah.
Which he would have done.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
would have like maybe Tony Stark may have retired after that. Maybe he would have like had a smaller role.
I would
with
say
the technological side.
With him and Cap, they would retire and be like mentors for the Young Avengers, which is a movie that they're planning on doing eventually.
Which that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly, because then they could bring in like Morgan Stark when she's grown up. She could be Ironheart or the new Iron Woman, whatever you want to call her. And then you could have like Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie, she could be Stature, and bring in all the other young Avengers.
Yeah.
So then you have a new generation of Avengers, and Spidey can be a part of that.
Yeah.
Because Spidey's part of the Avengers, there's no doubt of that.
Yeah.
But all the Avengers are all like ex-military, or they've all had like major training, they all know what they're doing. granted, Tony Stark only learnt some kickboxing from Natasha Romanoff in the second film, but they're all grown ups. They're all aware of what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
But with Spidey, he's a kid that got powers, and he's still trying to learn what he's doing. And I think that would be a really cool thing to do, is have all these kids trained up to be the next Avengers. So then it gives like kids of that age something to look into and go.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cheesy, but you could have like a Rocky montage as well, like just have Cap in the background and teaching them how to like do the punching bag sort of thing and whatever. But that would work because Thor could just go off around the galaxy. He thought like he wouldn't have to stay on Earth.
Yeah, so things leading past obviously when he goes off with the Guardians.
Yes.
I would not change that.
No,
I
think
I would keep that the same.
I'm looking forward to him being on Guardians because I can imagine Star-Lord and him would be ended up arguing every 5 minutes of who's in charge.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so now we kind of sorted that whole premise out, and I've lost my trailer for already. No, it will come back to me in just a sec.
We do this.
Yeah. So kind of things get lost. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, with obviously you got Tony Stark keeps his family, has a smaller role and so on, but then you would have Spidey Far From Home, which would look like a very different movie.
Yeah. See,
that would be a completely different movie in my opinion.
Yeah. Because
even though you have Mysterio, his grudge is against Tony Stark.
Well, there'd be no way in hell that Tony Stark would let him take all his tech without him knowing. He'd end up blowing it up within 5 minutes of being stolen.
Yeah, that would not happen. Absolutely
not. That in mind,
in my opinion, you'd have to come up with another villain for Far From Home.
See, the thing is, like, I said to you the other day, it's good that they got the idea of all these villains that they have a grudge against Stark.
Yeah.
But I think they could have done, like, each of the Sinister Six be a part of a different Avengers past. So I would have put... I know it sounds an odd one, but I would have put Mysterio more with Cap as, like, a spy type thing.
Yeah.
So then it would be like there's a grudge against Cap because he got outed during the Hydra thing back in Cap 2. So it's another new vengeance thing. But it would be less about Spidey being the new Iron Man, which I really don't like that they're trying to push. Because yes, he's tech-minded, but he's a kid. Like...
And then again, obviously, with Tony Stark mentoring Peter Parker and everything, then you're trying to shove that whole Iron Spider back in our faces. It's kind of it's too much. You kind of got to let a little bit die with Tony.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm thinking it would be better if each Sinister Six, when they bring them in, to be relative to the different previous Avengers teams. Team members. So you have Mysterio could be someone that Cap worked with while working for S.H.I.E.L.D. who ended up being Hydra outed. And then go from there. Yeah, it would probably be a repeat of Homecoming, but it'd be a different tone. Instead of it being a tech thing, it could be what Mysterio was, which is all chemicals, trying to illusion people by what it is, instead of it being just holograms. It was cool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was wicked,
but it was clunky because the drones are massive.
And when you have Tony Stark, who has the capability of building an arc reactor, which should be the size of a building, into a little thing in his chest.
The arc reactor should literally be the size of that.
Yeah.
But
just that on your chest, and it has these massive drones.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I found it a bit clunky, the way that they tried to make Mysterio. Because then it's like I said to you the other day, that he had a team of people to make a Mysterio. How does that work later on down the road? Oh, I need my team. I have 20 odd people to make me a superhero.
Why?
But what if half of them have a sick day?
What happens then?
What if half of them have the flu? Does it only half of it work? I mean, it was funny. That was the whole point of the movie. It was meant to be a bit more comical because Spidey is so childish, I suppose you could put it.
And he's witty.
Yeah, it's sarcasm. It's witty. It's just complete lunacy. But it just, I don't know. It fell flat because you already had one villain that hated Stark. Why would you have another one that Spidey had to fight?
Yeah. So I'll leave that we'll leave that one open. Like getting back my trail of thought as we were just talking. Right, so Captain America survives the snap. Tony gets his happy ending and everything. Obviously, the funeral doesn't happen. Now, do you think that Captain America, Steve Rogers? I personally think the whole thing with him going to put the Infinity Stones back would stay the same.
Yes,
I think that would stay the same.
Possibly. I mean,
from my opinion, I would not change that. Because obviously, like, we see him when he goes back to which time when was it when he goes back like to be with Peggy Carter?
That would be not long after the war, so probably 1945, give or take.
Yeah, because obviously he has to go put the Infinity Stones back in their point of time so they don't get taken again. Has to put back Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think that would change.
No, I think like they did a good farewell for both Iron Man and Cap.
Yeah, I agree.
But
like, what do you think would happen? Would he still go and put the Infinity Stones back? Like, do you think that would stay the same, or would you change something?
I would say he put it back, but then using the gauntlet, I don't know if he would be more capable of bringing Natasha back, because with Hulk, he said that he tried to bring her back and he couldn't.
But that's going to be in another video.
But
so we're not going to say too much on that one just yet.
But if he could bring her back, then I would say Natasha would probably be the better person to take the stuff back, because she is a spy. So she'd be a lot more stealthy. Cap is good, but he's only Cap.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a spy, he's a soldier. So, if there was a way that she could come back, it would be her, I think, as like a redemption thing for all the stuff that she's done.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, Cap would stay back in the past. He'd probably be injured, which would probably be a better disguise for him if he's injured, of the hand, obviously. Because going back, obviously, like, everyone's going to know, it's Captain America. But if he's, like, slightly injured, if he does himself up a bit different, nobody's going to recognise he is Cap.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't affect the timeline too much.
Yeah. Right, so I think that's that one. That's that one complete,
Yep.
I think. Leave that one open.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one is going to be about Vormir. Obviously, if you've seen Avengers Endgame, you've seen when Hawkeye and Natasha Romanoff, when they go to Vormir to acquire the Soul Stone. Now, if you know about the Soul Stone, it's a soul for a soul. So, in order to gain the stone, you have to lose someone that you love the most. So, it's a soul for a soul. So, when Hawkeye gets the stone, Natasha sacrifices herself in order so he can obtain the stone. However, is there a way that we think that maybe Natasha could be brought back afterwards?
Well, going by the comics, the whole point of the Soul Stone is it literally is housing every single soul in the entire universe. It's like a doorway. From what I can remember, I think it was Adam Strange. No, it wasn't Adam Strange. Adam Warlock. I don't know why I said Adam Strange. Adam Warlock was the one that had the stone inside his head. Instead of it being Vision with the Mind Stone, it was Adam Warlock with the Soul Stone. And part of what he could do was he could enter inside it. Anyone that had died, he could literally pull out and bring back again. And I don't know. With the films, I don't know if that's even possible, because...
But then, would you be able... But then, after acquiring the Soul Stone, is it possible to maybe, I am not sure, because I generally am not sure on this answer, if there even is an answer. After Natasha died and Hawkeye got the Soul Stone, after they've got all the stones and brought them back to Earth, is there a way that maybe, just before they went to Vormir, they can pluck her back out of that timeline, possibly with time travel again?
By their logic, yes.
Because I was thinking this last night, just before we did this video, and I was thinking, hang on, there might be a way. There could be a way.
Well, going by the MCU's time travel logic, Banner said that you can go back in time, but you end up spawning a new timeline from your original one. You can come back to...
So that would leave Hawkeye on his own on Vormir.
Well,
technically.
Yeah, it would. It's a bit of a weird logic.
I know, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Yeah.
Because from what I explained to you about their timeline thing, is like the only way I can explain it is like a subway line where you can start off at the same point,
Yeah.
and you can end at the same point like
Yeah.
this. Hang on, like that. But you could easily go up like that and back down, or you can do multiple routes to get to the same end point and start from the same start point.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'd say yeah, they could bring her back.
I say it's not a bad theory.
Because don't forget, Cap went back anyway to get rid of the stones back to where they should be.
Yeah.
So he could have easily gone back within like 2 seconds after she jumped off the cliff, picked her up. Hawkeye would have thought she'd gone because it was so cloudy on for
Well, like
him.
that timeline's Hawkeye, yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like then he could drop her off back after the whole like end game battle and go from there.
But then this is going to open up another timeline as well. Because say if that does happen, and Captain America did end up plucking Natasha back just before she died to get the Soul Stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which leaves Hawkeye on Vormir on his own. So you got everybody else which has gained their stones, and Hawkeye was the last one to acquire the Soul Stone, the last stone. So then that opens up a brand new timeline where Hawkeye comes back, doesn't have the stone. So then what the hell does that timeline Avengers do now? Now I've opened up a paradox, and this is going to absolutely mess with your mind.
Well, with that in mind, then it'd literally be the endgame battle would only be the original Avengers minus Natalia, because there wouldn't be all the sorcerers, there wouldn't be Wakanda, there wouldn't be Spidey, there wouldn't be Guardians. It would literally be just the original Avengers against like the entire massive army of Thanos, and they'd be dead within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the end of the movie.
Don't care how powerful they are, they wouldn't stand a chance.
No, exactly. Like, because it's like even Rocket laughed at them for taking, what was it, 3 hours to like do the Chitauri army? And he says like they're the most easy people to defeat. They're like the baby army or something you called it, like in the entire universe. So yeah, they would be dead within 5 minutes. But this is the thing, like, because
it creates so many paradoxes, doesn't it?
It kind of does, but don't forget the whole Hulk's like logic with the timeline is the fact that yeah, you can alter the past, but it doesn't impact on your own timeline unless the past comes up to this timeline, which is what Thanos did.
Yes.
But other than that, that's it. That's all there is to it. I mean, it creates like thousands of different possibilities, like Doc Strange said. But at the end of it, as long as Steve returned back at the moment that he went and brought Natalia back after the endgame battle, then that creates, well, things keep moving forward for them, and that's it. Like, I mean, I got a feel there is the Black Widow movie coming out in next year or the year after.
Which it's 2020, in July, I think. Which I'm super excited for, by the way.
But like, I'm looking at the trailer, and it does flash at Vormir where she is. If you look back at the trailer...
I need to look back on this.
Yeah. If you look back, she says, oh, I lived a very dangerous life, or something along those lines. And it flashes like all the different things she's done, including Vormir, where she sacrifices herself. So...
Wait.
I'm sure, because there's like the big temple, there's the clouds, and then there's her diving away to die. And then it flashes all the other stuff that she's done. I'm sure of it. So with that in mind... Is it her perspective from the Soul Stone that you see the movie like... Because apparently it's all set just before Infinity War. It's meant to be the gap between Civil War and Infinity War, which explains how she gets the blonde hair. That's okay, but like I say, she's narrating it from after Endgame.
Yeah.
So either it's from her from after being in the Soul Stone, or she did find a way to cheat it. Because this is Natalia, like, she's the greatest spy there is. Like, she's Black Widow. So, I am damn sure there's got to be some loophole that she's done.
I am pretty sure there is a way to bring her back.
Because, like...
They say it can't be undone, I disagree.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's only been a side character in everything. This is her first actual movie, if you think about it.
Yeah, which I'm excited, but I think, like, that kind of movie's kind of come too late, in my opinion.
The thing is, it's like...
I'm not saying it's not going to be a good movie.
No,
I think it's going to be ace.
It's going to be an amazing movie, but it's been a little while... Well, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Because it took God knows how long to get Captain Marvel And even then, I don't think her movie really changed the course of the MCU, other than the fact that
I don't think
it explained Spidey's film a little bit easier. That was all it did. I mean,
but for the whole plot of the Infinity Stones and everything.
I mean, it sort of explained the tesseract, but even that gives me a headache as it is.
Oh, don't start. That's another.
We're
video.
not going to go on there for the moment. But going on the whole soul for a soul thing. With two immortals.
Yeah, this is the next bit I want to talk about.
This is what we want to try and figure out between the two of us.
Yeah, let's say if you had two who can't die, who went to Vaughnmere, what would happen then?
Because my theory is that the only reason why the Soul Stone is Soul for a Soul is because the Eternals, which is another cool movie that's going to come out eventually, were the ones that came up with the concept.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like that in the comics. It was just a Soul Stone. It was just literally it was like the universe's backup plan for life.
Yeah.
It was like a backup hard drive. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yes, yeah.
But you didn't have to sacrifice anything. There's no such... I don't think there is a place called Vormir. It was just something they randomly did. But then you look at Vormir as a place. It looks like a temple, so somebody had to engineer it all. And it looks quite ancient.
Yeah, even though it's a desolate planet.
But this is the thing, when Wong explains the whole Infinity Stones, they are meant to be the fundamental elements of the universe.
Yes.
With the Eternals, they are literally eternal. They're immortal. So they must have had a hand in the stones themselves, because, I mean, my theory going is that they are responsible for...
Because when I suggested this, it was you who came up with this theory, which actually does hold quite a bit of water, I think.
The Infinity Stones all must have been created at the same point. In the exact same moment of the universe.
Yes.
So then someone must have had to be responsible to diverse them across the universe.
Yeah.
So then with that in mind, who would have done it other than immortal people, which could have been the Eternals? And then that also spawns into the idea of, how did Thanos know about them? Oh yeah, Thanos is a son of the Eternals, so...
That makes sense.
It's because... I don't know, they don't really mention much of the cosmic stuff. They are bringing more of it, which I'm so looking forward to. Because they're bringing in Galactus soon. And they're actually going to do Galactus perfectly. It's not going to be a swarm of bugs like it was in Fantastic Four.
Like proper world eater.
He's going to be a big purple dude with weird... Blah, blah.
I mean, it wasn't the first emergence of Galactus, slightly steering on topic, but the first emergence of Galactus in... Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
It is indeed, actually, because I do have on my canvas up here. I think
yeah.
That's one of the many comic panels on it. But yeah, Galactus is coming, so yeah, with the whole immortal thing, I am damn sure that it had to be the Eternals, because why else would you bring them in? They don't have much of a role to play other than the fact that they are linked to Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos has been the big bad for, the entire run of the MCU, give or take. So,
So do you think they would not be able to acquire the stones themselves? They wouldn't be...
No, I think it's some sort of loophole that you have to be mortal to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's an intense amount of power. Because it's literally rewriting reality.
Yes.
So they had to put some sort of loophole in it to ensure that no one went completely crazy.
Right. So going off to the last part of this, which is, even though it's completely stupid, but I still want to know the answer if there is one. Say if you loved yourself so much, you were the one that you loved the most.
It's basically Donald Trump
or Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, we can go on that tangent.
Sorry, it sounds completely stupid, but just hear me out. What if, the one that you loved so much was yourself, and you went to Vaughnmere by yourself to acquire the Soul Stone? Could you? That creates another paradox.
It does, because if you love yourself so much, you wouldn't want to sacrifice yourself. But then, if you love yourself so much, then you're able to have it.
But then, if you did manage to, say if you jumped off the cliff. And you did eventually, and you killed yourself, to acquire the stone. But then again, that creates another loophole, which I still haven't really found an answer, really, I think. I still haven't really found much of an answer to that.
Well, this is why I'm saying, like, if you love yourself so much, you wouldn't want to sacrifice yourself because you love yourself too much.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, what if you did? What if you did?
But then, well, if you did, then you get the Soul Stone. But the paradox being that the fact that you love yourself so much, you wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a
chicken and egg.
It's a mind bender.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to wrap, because when we was because we're always going through ideas all the time on like things like Facebook and so on. But when I suggested this to you, as the conversation went on, my brain was just melting just thinking about it.
No, I know what you mean. I felt like Indiana Jones, where the people just melt.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do hope we get more answers for the Infinity Stones, because the only thing that we knew prior was that they were cosmic gems that powered the universe. That was it. Like, there wasn't much of an answer to it.
No, it was kind of like the way they kind of explained it. It was like really similar to like the Force in Star Wars. Like, the Force is there and everything, but it doesn't really go into detail what it is.
No, that's the thing. Like, it's literally just cosmic power, which is all well and good.
Yeah, that's fine,
but like, there is loads of cosmic power within Marvel. Like,
yeah,
the Infinity Stones barely scratch the surface. Like, you got the power cosmic, which is from Galactus, which is literally almost as powerful as the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And then the whole cosmic aspect of Marvel, I'm looking forward to.
But it's confusing as hell.
It is. It's very flipping confusing, but yeah.
Okay, so I think we got this one, and I hope this has scrambled your brain. So get thinking in the comments.
Yeah, give us any ideas of what you think as well, because while we can come up with ideas, we do like to hear from other people as well to see what your opinions are. Sometimes we're so brain scrambled we sort of lose sight of what we're actually talking about. You sort of see that halfway through the video, as you've probably seen.
Yeah, so if you've gone through and you've listened to like some theories that you didn't know, like when we were discussing this, if you have your own theories and your own ideas, then please drop them down below in the comments, because we definitely want to hear these.
Okay, so next topic is, what the absolute hell is Loki doing with the Tesseract? Of course, he's getting his own TV show.
Yes, we know this.
And from the general premise of what I've looked into, he's literally just going from place to place throughout history and being the god of mischief and meddling with the timeline. That sounds cool, but then the thing that I find really confusing is that somehow this Loki ends up past Endgame and meets Thor during Thor Love and Thunder, the fourth Thor movie. Huh? Okay, now I know the Tesseract is meant to be the Space Stone, and you can warp space to warp time in some sort of weird science logic. I don't know how, but it's the way that sci-fi works. Yeah, pretty much. But I am curious where they're going to go with Loki for certain time periods, because
obviously when you have Loki, he's not gone through that whole redemption.
No, he's literally just finished Avengers being a pain in the ass to all of them.
So obviously, like, he's acquired the Space Stone. He's now buggered off in another timeline having fun. So how's that going to affect things? Like, what is happening in that timeline?
Well, this is what the whole show's going to be about, is him meddling with the timeline. But I am curious.
I'm hoping they show it. I'm hoping they show it in a good. Like,
in
abstract,
good taste.
And like in good detail as well, to show exactly what he's doing in that timeline.
Because the thing is as well, is like, I am wondering what time periods they're going to mess with, due to the fact that it's owned by Disney. They have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things about Loki that I wish they had done more.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing they have done is, like, he's the adopted brother of Thor, and he's always angry because he's not loved, even though he is. Like, that's literally the whole premise of Loki.
Yes.
And there's like deleted scenes during Thor: The Dark World where he shifts his body to look like various members of the Avengers, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
That's
where he pretends to be Captain America. He's like, I'm righteous, I'm Captain America, I saved the day, I'm American, da 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 da. But that's what Loki is. He's the god of mischief. He's meant to take the Michael out of
obviously
everyone.
That's what we want. So.
But then it's sort of like, he had that tone with the third Thor movie briefly when he's like, that's not my brother. It's like, oh, please, we're not doing please help. But that's what's been missing with Loki. He's not a full-on bad guy. He's just... I don't know how you could...
Sorry, I'm just thinking back to that scene. It's just making me laugh.
I think he's just
I hate it. Come on, you love it. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. Hello, have you got a better idea? No, then we're doing it.
It's like the whole idea of Loki is like he's the adopted brother that's always in the shadow of his
He'll always be in the shadow of Thor.
But which is why he's the god of mischief, because he's always messing with Thor, which is what has been missing out of the Thor movies, I think. Because in the first Thor movie, yeah, it was setting up the groundwork for him to be the bad guy, but I don't know, it seemed a bit odd that he was angry at Odin for taking him in when his own father just abandoned him.
Which makes very little sense.
Well, it sounds more ungrateful than anything else.
Yeah.
But what he could have done instead was that he could have messed with like the hierarchy within Asgard and tried to swing it to try and make it look like Thor was being irresponsible and tried to become the Prince of Asgard instead of just going, I'm angry at you for taking me away from my family. Yeah, but your family didn't want you.
So Odin taking away. Why would you be angry about that?
That's the thing. That's why it bugged me in that film. Like, they chose great people for the film, and it did look amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole thing that he was abandoned as a baby because his father didn't want him, and then he somehow gets angry at Odin for taking him in, that bugged me. That
was always, like, a big gripe for us.
Because, like, they don't have that in the comics. Like, the only reason Loki is the way he is because he's jealous because Thor's going to be the predecessor to Odin.
Yeah.
And so Loki always does everything he can to try and make Thor look like an idiot by manipulating him. Like, there's the bit where... I can't remember when it was, but it was like one of the classic Thor comics where Loki turns him into a frog. And so you get Throg. Not Thor, not frog, it's Throg.
And you have to say it like that as well.
And it's like, that would have been amazing to see.
I would have loved that.
Like, this is what I mean, like, with the whole point of Thor, it's like, it's not meant to be deadly serious all the time, but it's not meant to be deadly stupid all the time either. And they had a bit of a middle ground with it in Ragnarok, but then, when he came along to, like, Endgame, they just made Thor the comical pun. Like, they just made him the fat guy that was depressed and doing Fortnite, and it was a bit of a letdown.
Like an alcoholic.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
But, I mean, there's one thing I'd love to see is Loki messing with, like, the different Avengers. If it were possible, if they could bring back some of them back. Like, you could have, Loki going through Stark's like Iron Armory before it gets blown up in the third movie, and he's just messing around with the various suits, and you could like see him like you see like the panning of like the bits going bit by bit onto him. He's like, I am Iron Man, and then just ends up blowing himself backwards because he doesn't realise how powerful the suit is. Because it's like it shows the funny side to him, because he always thinks that he's the superior person, but he's not. He's always going to be the underdog.
Always.
But like. That would be so... I mean, trying to think, what else could you have him, like, messing with throughout the MCU?
I'm just trying to think on my feet here.
I mean, my favourite scene through Avengers was when he tried to shout at Hulk, trying to make him seem like he's the better person, and Hulk just literally grabs him.
I will not be intimidated!
Like, that was I couldn't stop laughing through that scene.
Yeah, it's just when you see him on the floor, he's like...
Help! But that's the thing, like, that's what makes Loki great. Because he's not, like, incapable. He's just egotistical, and he always ends up shooting himself in the foot.
But yeah, when I love that kind of whole dimension of his character, when he's got that, like, funny undertone like, thing to him. When it's not trying to be too over the top, it's just an undertone. But it works.
I mean, you could also, like, you could have him interact with Doctor Strange. You know where
I would love to see that.
Because it's like, when it was during Ragnarok and he ends up having Loki, and he just goes, I have been falling for
30 minutes!
Yeah, 30 minutes. Like, what I would have loved to have seen was either him falling, like, wherever he was falling, or he just ends up being transported throughout the entire mansion. Like various items in the house keeps attacking him, because the thing that it would remind me of, because Disney have the rights to it, it'd be like a Disney princess film where like all the inanimate objects are all coming to life.
Yeah. That would be cool.
It'd be
yeah.
what was it? With Mickey Mouse and the Phantasma, was it? Something along those lines. You know where he, like the Magician's Apprentice, where he like conducts.
Oh
everything.
yeah.
That's what I mean. Like that scene there where everything comes to life and it all goes wrong. That's what I'd love to see with Loki and Doctor Strange's mansion, like this, the Magic Mansion or whatever you want to call it. Like just have random things attacking, because it's like, you know when the Cloak attacks people during Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
I'd love to have seen that as well.
Yeah.
Just like Loki going, "What the hell is this damn cloak?" It's just like, because it's like.
It's just when you see Drax when it's on his face go, "Die blanket of death."
But this is it. This is what I mean. Like Loki's not incapable. He's just egotistical, and he always underestimates everyone around him. That's why he's always defeated, and that's what's been missing from the Thor movies. I think, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I can imagine like him trying to interfere with Captain America, and he's just going to pop around the corner to try and surprise him. He doesn't realise his shield's coming along, just gets whacked in the face or something.
Or just gets hit by the door or
yes!
something. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that stupid stuff like that with like the seriousness.
Yeah. It's like a Mr. Bean sort of moment.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I think Loki works.
When you have like Mr. Bean who is stupid but doesn't realise he's being stupid.
Yes.
So he tries to act all serious, you know. So yeah, there's definitely like an interesting comparison between like Mr. Bean and Loki.
But yeah, I mean, the whole point of the show is it's going to be going throughout the different time periods, but
I feel like it's hopefully going to explain that timeline a bit more.
I don't know, but we're going to have to definitely review that.
Yeah.
When it comes out, we're going to have to both sit down and try and piece it together and see what goes on from there.
So yeah, like at this point, we can only speculate now.
All I can imagine is that there's going to be a lot of dodgy moments. There's going to be a lot of various things that may not make sense to some people because they're different generations. But
obviously, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that's the general gist of that one.
I think so. Okay, now this is one which you've been dying to do for quite a few weeks now.
Yes.
Ever since the film, you've been dying to do this. Now we're finally getting the chance. Okay, I'm sure that we're not the only people that have thought about this question. But when Hulk made the snap with the nanotech gauntlet, and you see his arm got burned, everything all the way out to his neck and everything like that, and you see him throughout the fight and so on. But when you see him in the funeral scene, but yeah, Hulk has one of the best healing factors. So his arm would heal from that snap. So why has his arm not healed throughout that, despite the healing factor? Well, I think we do definitely. Well, I think you do have a very good theory to this.
Yeah. So my theory is that Hulk is a Skrull. Now, I'm sure they'll debunk it and they'll explain it better later on.
Originally, like when you said it to me, I thought, nah, this is just completely ridiculous. But when I actually started to do a bit more research into the Skrulls, I was like, actually, this holds a bit of water. This makes a bit of sense.
Well, so you see Hulk obviously in Ragnarok, and he's a bit more capable. He's been living on his own. He sort of acts and sounds like a toddler. That's what they said as the director, was the fact that because he had been Hulk for so long, he's sort of learning a bit more. He's just literally a toddler in his like mental stage. So I understand that Thanos is more capable in martial arts than Hulk. But the thing that bugged me was how easily Hulk got defeated by Thanos. And then, he got sent to Doctor Strange. But why would Doctor Strange send Heimdall send Banner to Doctor Strange? Because what logical...
I don't know why... Like, what was the purpose of that?
Well, the thing is, like, that point was, like, he was meant to take the Silver Surfer's position from the story. Was like, Silver Surfer in the original Infinity Saga was the one that crashed in Doctor Strange's mansion and warned everyone of Thanos. It ended up being Hulk instead. But as the movie goes on, obviously Banner is stuck in his own form, Hulk won't come out. And people have said, oh, well, Hulk just don't want to come out because he doesn't like being used as a tool. He is his own person.
And then there was another theory that like you said, like Hulk was tired of coming to the aid of Banner when he was in trouble, but then saying that the Hulk personality was so like disheartened and so disappointed that he like lost to Thanos that he didn't want to come out and fight anymore.
Yeah, like there was the fact that he was scared of coming out in case he got hurt again, which I could kind of get. But the fight between him and Thanos, this is where it goes weird. So the whole point of the Hulk is like the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. So with that in mind, surely he would have been more pissed off that he couldn't fight Thanos. He couldn't win. He would have got stronger. He would have won against Thanos. End of the movie. Obviously, that doesn't work for Disney. So, this is where my theory comes into play. So, I'm assuming that Hulk was Hulk, but he was knocked out too quick, and he does end up being sent away, but between the brief moment where he's out the mansion and then to Wakanda, he may have been switched with a Skrull. Because there was leaked images, apparently, where Hulk does come out eventually during Infinity War. He was meant to come out through the Hulkbuster, where he sees Thanos. He's meant to come out through that.
Which I would have loved to have
because
seen.
They had toys leaked. Cool. They had loads of ideas, which would make a great idea because he would have been pissed off at Thanos and he would have wanted his revenge. But instead, they didn't do that. They left him as Banner. So then my argument is that the reason why he couldn't shapeshift into Hulk is because the Skrull in charge of being Banner wasn't capable of doing the mass of the shapeshifting to be Hulk. Because with shapeshifting, it's all about... It's kind of like muscle memory. That's the only way a lot of people have explained it. Like, you can only do so much. It's like, that's why Mystique... Going on a tangent, but this Mystique's never been a Hulk during her shape-shifting powers. From what I can tell, she's always been like something in humanoid form. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's like an average human.
I mean, she's able to like replicate things like Wolverine's claws and that sort of thing.
But at the end of the day, she can't change her mass any bigger to what she is. Like she could probably go to the same muscle size as perhaps Captain America at the very most.
I do agree
because he's only human, so it's just literally very toned human.
But then when you go in towards Hulk,
which is literally like 5 times the size of Captain America, that's my perspective. Like he's easily 5 times the size.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
So with this in mind, my theory is like when they brought along Professor Hulk in Endgame, that was actually their attempt at creating Super Skrull. Now, Super Skrull is more of a Fantastic Four villain, but the point was, like, the Skrulls weren't able to replicate the Fantastic Four's powers all in one go. They had to genetically alter one Skrull as, like, a Captain America-esque character.
Yeah.
So he's able to have all their powers at once, which then would be a good gateway to bring him in fully if they started him off as, like, him trying to replicate Hulk. Because of the massive size of him, if he's able to stretch his upper limits of like the shape-shifting mass, then there's no limit to him after that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, well, the Skrulls haven't been listed as a bad guy so far during the whole run with them in Captain Marvel and the brief moment in Far From Home. They are planning on doing Secret Wars. And I do think it's a bit odd to do the Secret Wars storyline when the Skrulls aren't even labelled as a bad guy in the first place.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the Skrulls was that they are bad guys. They infiltrated the Earth because their own home planet got destroyed. So they were replacing half the population on Earth bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you started off with having a superior version of your own Skrull, you make an army of them, and then they're able to defend themselves against the Kree.
Now, I know there might be some people that are watching this that are going to be going, like, how can that be possible if, like, Hulk, like Professor Hulk, is a Skrull? If he's like, got like the same personality and like the story progresses the same with like his character and so on. Like, do you have a kind of an explanation for that?
So, the whole thing with the Hulk is the fact that he's basically a separate personality to Banner.
Yeah.
Banner is basically an abused child and he has split personality disorder. And so the only reason why Hulk manifested when the gamma bomb went off was to protect Banner, because otherwise Banner would have died. So over the arc of the Hulk's life, he's had various versions of himself that have manifested.
So
Professor Hulk is one of them.
So in a way, you can kind of think of the Hulk, and like the other personalities of the Hulk as the passengers, and as like the passengers in the car, and Bruce Banner is the vehicle.
Essentially, yes. It's like they each switch out who's the driver, but at the end of the day, you got so many different variations of the Hulk. Professor Hulk is one of them. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not Banner's mind in the Hulk's body. It's Banner and Hulk as one. That's the It sounds a bit nitpicky, but the way that I'm trying to explain it is like it's Banner's intelligence, but it's not Banner in Hulk. Like,
as he said, like trying to put the brain and the brawn together.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, because the thing is, like, with the way that he looks in Endgame, it just looks like he's.
I'm sorry, but I freaking hate Professor Hulk.
Yeah,
I hate it.
So do I. I mean, it's cringy when he dabs, but it's just, for me, it looks like.
I remember just watching Endgame, seeing Professor Hulk, and I was like, "Oh, kill me now."
It's like the actor had literally been doused in green makeup and then ended up being pumped up.
It's Mark Ruffalo painted green
and pumped up. It's literally someone's gone and got like either steroids or an air pump or something. It's just gone like, right, hold still. But like, I don't know. I could be wrong. Like, at the end of the day, they could easily say, yeah, we just wanted to make him Professor Hulk because we don't know what we're doing with Hulk, which is quite true, because to be fair...
They didn't really have a plan going forward with Hulk, apart from Avengers.
The thing is, like, Incredible Hulk is the only film that stayed in continuity throughout the whole MCU, because there's been three different... Is it 2 or 3 Hulk movies?
Like, you had 2003 when you had Eric Banner.
Yep.
And you had... I can't remember his name.
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton, who was the Hulk in 2008, I think.
Yes.
And now you got Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's...
Despite what you feel about like the last 2 movies, they do stick in the continuity.
So they say, but it's the problem is like the Hulk is a rage monster in their perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of it missing. I think like. They don't really delve much into the whole idea of the Hulk, other than the fact that he's literally just a wrecking machine.
Yeah.
And I think, because the thing is, when you look back at Endgame, there's the scene where Hulk can't get into the elevator. Yeah. He gets pissed off, and he mumbles. But
go stairs.
But the thing is, he doesn't talk throughout the rest of the movie anyway. I think they only added that scene to try and make it out like he was always capable of talking. But that contradicts itself when it comes to Ragnarok, where the directors have said that Hulk is literally a toddler, so he's only just learned how to talk between...
Yes, but you can understand why it's a little bit, why it's so nitpicky.
Yeah.
Like adding that in, going, oh, this was a good idea for Ragnarok, we'll add this into Endgame.
Yeah.
But because... when you go back and watch the Avengers movie...
Yeah.
We see it doesn't stick.
Well, but the thing is, he doesn't talk in Age of Ultron either.
No.
Because he's just literally, robots. But, he doesn't say robots, but you know what I mean. He just literally smashes everything in sight.
Yeah.
And that's the general gist. I mean, I don't know why they just don't seem to know what to do with Hulk. Like, he's an amazing character to deal with. Like, there are so many different personalities. But they just don't know what to do with him. Because...
I mean, I just... after watching the films for so long, when we eventually got Professor Hulk, and I was thinking about, when you're sticking with all the multiple personalities and so on, with Hulk, it's, in my opinion, a very hard character to mess up.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not much... there's a lot to him, but there's not much to him. At the same time, Hulk's very easy to explain.
Hulk is, like I said, he is a rage monster. The thing that I think they find difficult to explain is the multiple personalities. Because, to the average moviegoer, I don't think they want the psychological aspect to him, which is a shame, because that's part and parcel with the Hulk character.
Because when you just, I don't know, your average person who, hasn't read the comics, and, say if they're just seeing Hulk for the first time, and you see just like the one monster inside of Bruce Banner. When obviously, if you're a comic book fan, like there you have all different ones. You have like Joe Fixit, Grey Hulk, you know, all these different incarnations of Hulk, which you would want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see.
See, I'd love to see Gangster Hulk. Not like all sort of gangster, like a proper gangster, like a proper New York
like
gangster.
Mobster,
yeah. Like, that would be amazing to see. But I don't think they'd ever do it because it's...
I feel they'd be taking a very big risk trying to do that.
I mean...
Unless you can crowbar it into a series, maybe.
Well, there is going to be She-Hulk TV series that's coming out either next year or the year after. And that's going to be an interesting one as well, because like the whole point of She-Hulk is that it's Bruce Banner's cousin. She gets shot and she gets a blood transfusion from him, and she ends up becoming She-Hulk. But instead of being a rage monster, she retains her normality, but she can shapeshift into the big Jade Giant version of herself or her normal self. And it's the only way that can actually work now is the fact that she gets a blood transfusion from Professor Hulk from the MCU, because Banner is one with Hulk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they're going to actually explain it, because I mean,
it's a tough one.
It is.
Know.
I mean, there's a lot to Hulk. At the end of the day, he is a rage monster, but there is so much more to him. Like we said, there's like Devil Hulk, there's Joe Fixit, there's World War Hulk, there's Savage Hulk,
Worldbreaker
Hulk. You got Immortal Hulk, which is the new one, which I told you to read, which is absolutely amazing, but it's even more confusing because he can only come out at night time. And yeah, exactly. So I mean,
what do you do with that?
I don't know. I mean, but going back to like why it doesn't make sense, like he even said so himself that because the stones are mostly gamma, he should be able to absorb the gamma energy.
Yeah.
But then, why did it hurt his arm so much? Yes, I know the gauntlet wasn't made from Uru metal.
I don't care. He has one of the best healing factors.
Yeah, but my point is the fact that if he's already gamma, he's already literally irradiating gamma.
Yes.
So why would more gamma hurt him? If anything, my theory is that it shouldn't have hurt him. It should have made him more of a Hulk, if that makes sense. Like should have made him like more muscular, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because
I would have thought it would have been more of a benefit.
Well,
to
this
Hulk,
is the thing.
You know?
Like during the Avengers Assemble cartoon series, I don't know if you've ever watched it.
I have seen it. Yeah.
But there is one scene where there is a gamma bomb in the middle of New York, and so Hulk goes along and absorbs it. As he absorbs the gamma radiation, he does Hulk out war. Like, that's what happens with Hulk. The more gamma radiation he takes in, the bigger he gets. Because he's a walking gamma bomb, so he's able to siphon it off, which explains again that he can't be Hulk, he must be a Skrull. Because there's only so much gamma someone can take. Skrulls are probably a bit more durable because they're alien, it may be like different radiation, whatever you have. But at the end of the day...
Like I said, maybe a very weak radiation.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It could be something so minor to them compared to us. But then it looks weird because from what I look back, I don't know if it's me imagining things. You know when he has his arms burnt? Did it look a bit small as well? I swear it looked like it shriveled.
No, you're not wrong.
Like, I swear to God, his arm looked like he shriveled. Because like even when it's in like the sling, his hand does look a little bit smaller, which means that it must be damaged tissue.
Yeah.
And so if he is a Skrull, it's a good job all Skrulls are green, and so is the Hulk. like this is the thing. If it did hurt the Skrull, if he was a Skrull, then yeah, his shapeshifted mass would have shrunk from the damage, but he still looks like green.
Yeah, because look, here's a pretty good photo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look at this. We'll put this in post later on.
Even though it's probably going to be in post, I'll show it to the camera anyway.
But you look at the size of his hand, look at the size of his arm. The arm looks a lot less...
It looks a lot... Come on, that is a significant difference.
Yeah. Like, it looks like it's halved in size. Like, he's still quite a large guy, but compared
that's
to...
still... Yeah, like still, even when you've seen, like, surface injuries to the Hulk, he doesn't lose any muscle mass.
No.
He shouldn't lose any muscle mass. So why does his arm look so small?
Which is why I'm saying he must be a Skrull.
This
Because, like, it must have injured the mass of his shape shifting, so he would have shrunk down to perhaps his normal part. So, yeah, I mean, this is me speculating, of course, and everyone in the comments, you can give us a shout, give us any ideas on what you think. I do hope I'm right, because I really hate Professor Hulk.
Yeah, because
like,
to be honest, I do agree with you, actually. Because it's kind of like the more you spoke about it, the more I can't really dismiss it.
Well, this is the thing, like, the only reason I think they did Professor Hulk was the fact that they were so fed up of people complaining that Hulk would have defeated Thanos. Yes, he would have.
Yes.
But at the same point, he's not trained in martial arts. He just punches things and he gets angry and then he keeps punching things. So with him being Professor Hulk, again, I don't think that would have worked well because Banner doesn't know how to fight.
No.
Like, that's why he lets Hulk take the wheel. Not Jesus take the wheel, but Hulk take the wheel. But, like, if he'd have spent more time, like, what they should have done, I think they should have shown how Banner and Hulk came to an agreement, and then made that Professor Hulk. Because the excuse that they used for the movie was, I just use more gamma on my brain because the Hulk won't come out, so I just more gammaed my brain.
Yeah, so sort of going off on the last bit. How would, if say we had to have like Professor Hulk, can't change that. But how would you have done Professor Hulk? How would you have wrote that character?
So I would have started it off in a black room, and like a doorway's open, and you have Banner walk out, and then would
you actually show this on screen?
Yeah. So you'd have it in a black room, literally just a black cubey room.
Yeah.
And you'd have a door open, nothing behind the door, but it'd just literally be a door. Banner walks out, and then you see him slowly walk up to what the Hulk... Let me just put this on my charge. So you'd have, like, Banner walk up to Hulk, who's probably cowering in the corner, because he's still scared of Thanos. Like, that was the whole reason why he wouldn't come out. So... he walks up to Hulk and he could say something along the lines of, "Hey there, big guy. Really need your help." You could have the two of them in like transversing,
actually interacting.
Yeah, and he just literally like acts like a toddler, like, "Hulk, no, Hulk's scared." And he's like, "Well, how about we like work together in sync?" And then just have it as like
because we work against each other so much.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how powerful we could be together.
And then from like they could end it off with like Banner reaching out for his hand, Hulk and vice versa. They shake hands,
and then going off, and then
it could pan out to back to normal reality, and you could have like Banner manifest into Professor Hulk from there.
I would have accepted that character more.
Exactly.
I think a lot more people would have accepted that.
But this is the thing, that's what makes Hulk more interesting, because there are so...
He's so simple yet so complex.
But because of the multiple personalities, that's what is hard to add to him. But like the thing is, Banner is like one of 5 of the smartest people in Marvel in the comics. You got Reed Richards, you got Tony Stark, Banner, you got Doctor Strange, and I'm trying to think who's the other Illuminati member.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
So those are the top 5. Obviously, we don't have Xavier, we don't have Reed Richards, so we're left with Tony Stark, we're left with Doctor Strange and Banner. Now, I mean, the other things were, you could have actually had Doctor Strange help as well. You could have had Doctor Strange help, like, hypnotise him with something and go into the mindscape. That would have been amazing. Because at least then, it would have been a lot more... Because Doctor Strange didn't have a lot to do in Endgame, other than the fact that he was just there to say, yeah, this is the Endgame. Like, that was it. Like, he was there to just confirm this was the timeline that they won, and that was it. But if Doctor Strange was the one... If they brought everyone back... See, this is the thing. It's hard to try and make it work, but I want to make it work.
I know, yeah.
But, no, I still think that they should have had a scene where they'd gone into Banner's mindscape and he would have talked to the Hulk and tried to have them both work in unison, and then seen him actually become Professor Hulk.
Even though it's like House and Mouse, I reckon you could have done it in a quite dark way, but one that's not... You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been serious, but it would have been...
But
also slightly funny as well.
because then, if we would have had that and then seen Professor Hulk, hopefully a little bit less like goofy than what we got,
Well,
I would have been more accepting of that character.
What I was going to ask you, obviously with the Professor Hulk we saw, it was just literally Banner that was green with muscles.
Yes.
Would you change the voice? Would you have it as either a Hulk voice, because his voice as Hulk is a lot Hulk smash, or would you have it as a merging of the two, so you'd have like the intelligence of Banner, but you would still have like the deep, mussy, like Hulk voice, if you see what I mean, like the threatening, deep tone of Hulk, because I think
I would have had just that option. Like I would have had like Bruce Banner's voice, but then kind of a how do I put this? You know when obviously you have Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's like the same person talking, but obviously the sound's different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have like the mannerisms, you have like the vocal tone and everything of Bruce Banner.
But you have the voice.
It sounds more like the Hulk, like a baritone.
Yes. Because the thing is like
there's some things you have to tweak and change, because the voice, in my opinion, would not have stayed the same.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like when you see Professor Hulk, he's got the glasses. What I've just realised.
Why would he need the glasses?
There's that, but what comes to mind is like with his voice in that body, it'd be like Leonard from Big Bang Theory voicing Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, because it's like, I'm a nerdy guy, but I got muscles. Like, what? No.
It's like when you put it that way, it does that.
Like, you have to have the voice to go with the person, because, like, I'm not saying he'd have to be Hulk smart, but I'm smart. But you'd have to have, like, the deep tone to him to make him more like a hybrid of Banner and Hulk.
Because, like, in post, in editing, like, you could have had like Mark Ruffalo speaking the lines,
yeah,
and then in post add in more like depth, like
a
baritone to his voice, making it deeper.
Exactly.
You know?
But I mean, again, this is me speculating whether or not he's a Skrull. I have no idea if they ever will play on it. I so hope they do, because I don't know, Hulk was a hell of a letdown during Endgame. The only useful thing he had was the fact that he was able to do the snap, and even then he struggled. That was
Which I still don't understand how, but...
Because I don't think he did much fighting during the Endgame fight.
Well, we didn't see a lot. We didn't see... Well, did we see anything from Hulk?
Well, you literally saw him jump into action, and then the camera pans away.
And then it focuses on, like, you see Cap for Iron Man rescue.
Yeah, because like one of the many deleted scenes was there was meant to be a scene where Professor Hulk versus Thanos, which is all well and good, but he still would have got his ass worked, because, like I said to you, he's not capable in martial arts. He's not been trained. He's a scientist, but he's just got lots of muscle. He'd still get his ass whooped. Like,
so everything all points back towards being a Skrull.
Yeah. Like, that's the only way I can logically.
That's the only logical explanation that we could think of.
No, I don't think there's anything more we can add. But that's been it for the video, I think, this week. Yeah. I mean, we will be posting up more soon. We got lots of things to do. We will be discussing DC stuff eventually, but for the moment it's mostly the MCU because it's been around longer, but we do have DC stuff. And hopefully, if you guys give us enough comments and likes, we can try and figure out even more fun things to talk about. But thanks for enjoying the video.
And also some new things. We got a new Facebook and a new Instagram as well. So if you want to get in contact with us other than the comments section, then please check us out on Instagram and check us out on Facebook, which I'm sure will be in the description box below.
But cheers for watching and see you guys next time.
Later, guys.
See you later.